Welcome into Back of the Net. It is Monday, so it means it is time to recap all that happened this weekend. And now we had no games today, so that means we are officially on the international break. We are here. International break time is here, so we got results from the Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga and Serie A that we need to get through here. And then we'll figure something out, because I think there's a few good international matches this upcoming window that, we'll talk about. Probably not today. I'll keep today a full recap, but yes, there was a lot that happened this weekend in all four leagues, and I think a lot of it warrants, attention to talk about. So we'll start with the Premier League. We talked about Luton West Ham on Friday. Yeah, Luton, they're not good at all. It's almost like they're trying. I got to give it to them. They're trying with their system. It's just not going to work. Saturday, Everton get their first points of the season in a 2-2 draw against Sheffield United. It's a result, which is good, I guess. But, Everton, same with Sheffield. Both needed a win here, and they came away with a point. So it's almost as bad as the situation as a loss here, since now you're just still even. But, we still have 4 teams in the Premier League that haven't got points yet this season. So, I don't know. I don't know about these two. I still think they're very much contenders to go down, just because they just don't have a chance, I don't think. Brentford, a 2-2 draw against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, again, I don't know what's happening there. I thought the manager they brought in, which I'm completely blanking on his name right now. I want to say it was like a Rise or a Rosa or something like that. I could be wrong. I thought he was supposed to be an attacking manager with progressive tactics that are going to get you goals when you don't expect it. I haven't seen that from Bournemouth at all this year. They seem to be sinking like a rock, and it's just unbelievable. I don't know what's happening within that, organization right now, because like I said, I thought this was going to be a success for them. Not we're competing for Europe success, but finishing 11th or 12th success. And man, oh man, they don't look good. Brentford, you don't expect them to play like they did against Fulham every week. So for them, I guess this is an okay result. But given that it's against this Bournemouth team that's sinking like a rock, you almost got to get 3 points there, especially since it's at home. I don't know. It's a tough situation for both sides there, I think. Tottenham 5, Burnley 2. We talked about that on Top of the Perch last night. If you want my full thoughts on that, I thought really, really great performance from Ange Postecoglou's men. Hopefully it's only going to get better from here, but if you want the full thoughts on that, go check that out. Nottingham Forest 1, Chelsea 0. Chelsea. My oh my. Where do we start with you? Transfer window closes. You've spent over £1 billion in the past 12 months. And your last, I think it's this calendar year, you've won 5 or 6 games, something like that. What are we doing here, Chelsea? Come on. Now, of course, I'm a Spurs fan, as you know, full disclosure. That's why there's a Spurs-specific show on this channel. I'm 100% enjoying it. That snake Mauricio Pochettino goes to Chelsea. Now he's just doing absolutely terrible. Which you could say, it was an insider to really take Chelsea down. Stop it with that. Please stop. Please. No. That's not a real thing. Let's be honest here. But, my oh my, I thought this Chelsea team would be so much better after spending £1 billion in the past 12 months, and they're not. Obviously showing that you can't just throw money at something and make it be a winner. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I don't know what Todd Boehly thinks he's gotten into with Chelsea. This isn't baseball where you can just buy all the young talent and have a good team. That doesn't work that way. You also just can't be giving out like 8-year contracts because that also doesn't work that way. I know you're trying to curb financial fair play, and for now it's worked, but this team isn't good at all. Pochettino will be lucky if he has a job come December at this rate. One, with the way that turnover has gone under this Todd Boehly regime. I mean, they were on 4 managers last year. I don't know. I don't know where Chelsea go from here. I mean, I'm not saying Forest is a terrible team, but you can't be losing to Forest at home 1-0. So I truly do not know where Chelsea go from here. Man City put up 5 against Fulham. No big surprise there. Tim Ream got a goal for Fulham, though. So good for him, the American, going into camp with that U.S. national team. Yeah, I don't know. Man City still the only team left without a draw or a loss, so they still have the full points. So they are on 12 points right now. Sitting top of the table, it doesn't really look like anybody's going to compete with them this year, barring a horrific injury to, half of their squad, because, I mean, it's not just going to take one injury to kill the squad. It's going to take like half of the squad injury. And even then, I think they can still win the title. I don't think anybody's competing for the title this year with Man City. Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Newcastle 1. What a enjoyable game of football to watch. And Evan Ferguson hat trick. Only 18 years old for Brighton. It is all off tonight for Brighton. I really like the way he's playing. He's gonna end up being sold in like 1 or 2 years, probably to like Chelsea for £200 million on a 12-year contract, and then he's just gonna fall apart because that seems to be how it's going right now. But I still think Brighton are good enough to be competing for, Europa League, possibly 5th place, which might become a Champions League spot. We don't know yet. We won't find that out until the end of the year, which is absolutely dumb, but I am not UEFA. Newcastle, people are starting to rumble a little. Like, hey, Eddie Howe might not be the guy. I think everybody's starting to turn and see that last year was an overperformance, and that's not going to be, how they are consistently. That's just an anomaly, which I 100% believe, but I'm not the one to be making the decisions here. I think with that Champions League group, I don't think they're going to get a lot of results there either. So Eddie Howe might be on that. That seat might be getting a little warmer. Just because, I think Newcastle expect the success that they don't seem to be getting this year. Again, we're 4 games into the league. Major overreactions. We can't be having these reactions until we're like 10 games into the league season. So we'll keep it there. Sunday, an absolutely wild game at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace win 3-2 against Wolves. I mean, this game was back and forth for what seemed like the whole second half. Somehow, some way, Crystal Palace get a victory here against a Wolves team that I still don't think are that good, but might find a way to stay up. They need more investment in that squad. And somehow Roy Hodgson has got this Crystal Palace team just doing these kind of things, what seems to be every week. So, I mean, I can't wait to see if this continues. I don't think it will, but just watching Roy Hodgson at his age, which is like 79, I believe, and still managing at this high of a level and getting results like this as a manager, just absolutely outstanding to watch. Liverpool get a 3-0 win against Aston Villa. And then in the game of the weekend, Arsenal get a 3-1 victory against Manchester United with a Declan Rice goal in the 97th minute. And then it was a Gabriel Jesus goal in the 101st or 102nd, somewhere around there. That was after a Man City goal was overturned on VAR in the 80th minute. That would have put them up 2-1. It was a crazy game. Arsenal now sit on 10 points. A lot of people starting to talk about Ten Hag now. They're now saying, what has he done in these past years? Yes, he won a Carabao Cup, but nobody cares about the Carabao Cup according to these pundits. And what system has he implemented? Honestly, I have no idea. Spent a lot of money, I know that. So, again, this is an international break. It's time for teams to kind of figure out where they're at, try to fix things, and then we'll see what comes back out at the international break. Should be an interesting development coming in 2 weeks' time. So, given that, we'll move on from the Premier League. We'll move down to La Liga. We talked about the Friday games on Friday, obviously. On Saturday, we had just a goal fest between Real Sociedad and Granada. 5-3 victory for Sociedad. Quite a interesting result. Just given the score line, it's more that way. I'm not surprised by the team that won. It was just more that it was Real Sociedad putting up 5, and then you also have Granada putting up another 3 on that. That one kind of just shocked me because it just didn't seem like it was going to play out that way. I mean, if just looking at the stats really quick, I mean, Real Sociedad had 62% possession with 15 total shots. I mean, that's good, very good for 5 goals. But it's more the Granada putting up 3 on 38% possession with 5 shots on target. That's also quite good number for them. You have Real Madrid, a 2-1 victory against Getafe at the somewhat reopened Santiago Bernabeu in Madrid. The renovations are basically finished. I think they're just finishing up the roof, and then it's officially done. But a Jude Bellingham goal wins them this game, and my oh my, does he keep looking like a steal. A 95th minute goal for Los Blancos. Get Real Madrid the victory. Again, like I said, Jude Bellingham. It was 90 million, I believe, Real Madrid spent on him. Looking like an absolute steal. I mean, this guy is absolutely insane the way he's playing at his age. I'm really excited to see him develop at Real Madrid. He's at the biggest club in the world. I'm excited to see how that translates onto the national stage, which we may even see this week. I don't trust Gareth Southgate as manager, but I mean, I'm just excited to see where this goes with him because he's got a very bright future ahead of him. Deportivo Alvarez get a 1-0 victory against Valencia. Valencia just still in very big trouble. I mean, the one goal was an own goal in the 6th minute, and they just couldn't get another goal in this game, despite having 61% possession. So, I don't know what's happening there. Then the final Saturday game, you had Real Betis get a 1-0 victory against Rayo Vallecano. I mean, no real big surprise there. I probably would have expected another goal or 2 from Betis, but a win is a win for them. You have Granola getting a 1-0 victory against Las Palmas off a 88th minute goal. That was just, it was almost a very ugly game to watch. I mean, just getting to that goal. But if we really want to talk about ugly games to watch, it was this 0-0 draw between Mallorca and Bilbao. Bilbao had almost 70% possession compared to Mallorca's almost 30, or a little bit above 30. Just absolutely disgusting to watch. It was quite an awful game of football. Atletico Madrid and Sevilla got postponed due to flooding in the Madrid area. So that game's going to happen at a later date. And then you had Barcelona going on the road to Osasuna, getting the win off a Robert Lewandowski 85th minute penalty. Again, no real surprise at that result there. I probably would have expected Barcelona to score a few more goals there, though. So given that was La Liga, so we'll move on to the Bundesliga, where it was goals galore on Saturday. There were just so many goals, so many goals. So, I mean, we talked about Friday. I don't know what's really happening with Dortmund right now. I feel like they should have won that game, but they didn't, so yeah. You had Augsburg get a 2-2 draw against Bochum. I'm kind of surprised by that. But on the other side, I thought Bochum probably could have got the win there, and they just didn't. You had Leverkusen put 5 up on Darmstadt. They get a 5-1 victory. Leverkusen just flying right now in the league. Excited to see if that continues to develop this year. You had Hoffenheim get a 3-1 victory against Wolfsburg. You had John Brooks scoring the opening goal for Hoffenheim. That tied the game up at 1 going into half. John Brooks scoring against his former club. I'm a little bit surprised about how Hoffenheim are playing this year. I expected them to be a little bit worse, and they're not right now. So, I also expected Wolfsburg to be better this year, and they just haven't looked the part yet. Then you have Stuttgart, who in their 3 games played this year, 5 goals have been scored by a team. Their first game of the season, they scored the 5 goals. Their second game of the season, it was RB Leipzig scoring the 5 goals. And in Matchweek 3, they're once again scoring 5 goals as they defeat Freiburg 5-0, which when I saw this, I was stunned. I just didn't expect this result at all because, Stuttgart, I feel like should be more trending towards the bottom of the table, not scoring 5 a game. That was quite shocking to me. So, that scoreline when I saw it, I'm like, wow. Then you had another 4 goals put up by Werder Bremen against Mainz. Werder Bremen were just flying all game. It started with a penalty that they converted in the 3rd minute, and they just never looked back. Quite a good game for them. And then you had Bayern Munich, who went on the road to Mönchengladbach, sneak away with a 2-1 victory after a Matthias Tell goal in the 88th minute, I believe it was, saving Bayern Munich in this game. I can't say I'm surprised. Bayern Munich always seem to struggle on the road at Mönchengladbach. It's like it's their boogeyman, so I'm not surprised by that at all. Then you had a 1-1 draw in the Frankfurt-Cologne game, and it was Nkudu goal in the 88th minute for Frankfurt that got them the draw here. It was a good goal. It was probably a deserved goal. Cologne did not play up to their standards in this game. They probably should have lost 3-1, but it ends up just being a draw, so they're lucky to take away points there. And then, like I said, on Friday, I like Union Berlin, but I feel like this is a game they lose like 2-0, 3-0, something like that. And they do lose 3-0 to RB Leipzig. 3 goals in the second half. It's just the two styles of play are completely opposite, and I figured RB Leipzig would take advantage of that, and it turned out that they did. Union Berlin no longer sit top of the table like they were coming into that game. It's actually now Bayer Leverkusen who sit top of the table after that 5-1 amazing performance against Darmstadt. So given that, we will now move on to, of course, our final league that we do, Serie A. We like always, we talked about the games that happened on Friday. So we might as well move on to Saturday when Bologna got a 2-1 victory against Cagliari. Cagliari got it started with a goal in the 22nd minute, I believe it was. Just very interesting game from them. I thought that they probably could have pulled out a victory, even though they were playing peak dead football, fossil football. Looking at these stats right now, they had 28% possession. They had 7 total shots with 1 on goal. That is as dead of football as you can get. Compared to Bologna, who had 72% possession, 16 total shots with 7 on goal. There was still a point where I thought Cagliari was going to win that game. They don't end up winning. It ends up being a 2-1 victory for Bologna. Udinese and Frosinone, Calico go for a 0-0 draw. Nothing truly outstanding to report there. Atalanta get a 3-0 victory at the US Stadium against AS Monza. No real shock there. The shocking result of the weekend for me in La Liga, or in Serie A, I should say, is the Scudetto winners Napoli losing at home to a Lazio team that just hasn't looked good at all to start this season. Their first 2 match weeks, they looked absolutely dreadful. And they come out of this game with a 2-1 victory, their first 3 points on the season. Absolutely outstanding result for them. It's something that they needed, just given that, when you lose 2 games that you probably should have won, and then you go into a third game thinking, you're probably going to lose that one because you're going up against the Scudetto winners. Then you win it. That's a huge game for Lazio there. So then moving on to Sunday, another kind of shocking result because I expected Fiorentina to put up a better fight, but they end up losing 4-0 at the San Siro. Like I said, I expected them to put up a better fight. They just didn't, which hopefully that's not a sign of things to come for Fiorentina, but maybe Inter Milan's just that good. Torino get that should not say 5-0. I don't know why that says 5-0. They won 1-0 against Genoa. That must have been a typo from the graphics department of this great channel, which, of course, the graphics department's me, but putting the blame on myself, always. Torino get a 1-0 victory in a 94th minute goal to steal this game. One of the last shots of the game. I believe it was 6 minutes added on, so there was still a few minutes of football to be played there, but Torino end up with the 1-0 victory there. Juventus go on the road to Empoli and get a 2-0 victory. No real surprise there. Just maybe by the amount of goals, probably should have been 3 for Juventus, but still a good performance from the old Grey Lady. And Lecce get a 2-0 victory against Salernitana. Kind of surprised by this. I expected Salernitana to put up a better performance in this game. They just couldn't find the back of the net. I think they had 4 total shots on target. Didn't get any of them in, obviously. It was an off day for them, it seemed. They probably should have got 3 points in this game, just given the competition of Lecce, but they didn't. Lecce walk away with the 3 points, which should help them, later in the season when they're most likely fighting relegation. I don't really know. It's going to be interesting to see, of course, but given that is the Serie A recap for this match week 3. And now we're in the international break. Like I said, there's a lot going on. There's some really bad friendlies going on. There's Euro qualifiers going on. That's the major thing. I think we have African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Maybe Copa America qualifiers. I may no, because Copa America doesn't do qualifiers because they all make it. It might actually be World Cup qualifying for Common Bowl. We might already be to that point. So given that, that's going to be it for today's episode of Back of the Net. We will be back maybe Wednesday because I know Euro qualifying is on Thursday. I would rather preview that than recap that on Thursday. So we may be back on Wednesday. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you stumble across this video, like, subscribe, tell anybody you know about it, and we will be back Wednesday or Thursday, one of the two. Take a look at this international break on the next edition of Back of the Net.